NFL fans, welcome to Impact Media presents Playoff Bonanza. I've just whatever your favorite word for crazy because this has just been outstanding. Joining me as always, my good buddy Daniel Snyder. How are you, Daniel?
Um, I'm less stressful than I was this past Saturday, but it is what it is.
I was too, but it was because I was awaiting the arrival of my new niece. So she is happily here. I
Okay,
have already seen her, and everybody is doing fantastic. So
that's
my
good to
stress
hear.
level is down. I know after that win by San Francisco that we will talk about, your stress level went down. So we're doing good.
Great, we're doing great.
But as always, guys, we're going to talk. We're even though
About
all the
last
news
week's
has
games,
dropped. Yep, all the news has dropped here recently, guys, about Raheem Morris now being named in Atlanta as the head coach. We know Harbaugh's going to the Chargers. I think there's only like two or three of the empty seats still available, but just a quick take on any of them stick out or any of them you're intrigued by.
I didn't know about the Harbaugh and the Chargers. I think that's very interesting that you got Harbaugh brothers now in the AFC together. So
Mhm.
yeah. I'm surprised Belichick hasn't found a spot. I don't see him being in Carolina. That doesn't look like a good marriage. Um, I don't see him wanting to work. Is Al Davis family still in charge of the Raiders? I don't see him wanting to work for the Davises.
Well, they already named Antonio Pierce. They kept the interim on.
Okay, watch that. Go there. Go show what I know about that. Can he end up in Seattle? Belichick to
That
Seattle,
that is an
possibly.
open job, but I mean, there's also that chance that I think Belichick, the only team that I knew he was talking to was the Falcons. So he
Yeah,
may just he may either be
GM
done or he may
position.
be taking a year off.
What if he goes for the GM position? Is
Yeah, I
McVay
didn't
on?
think about
Ain't
that.
McVay on his way out?
I don't know. I keep hearing random things about that, so I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, maybe next week when we're talking about or Super Bowl, whatever, we'll know something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll get a little into that. But I just want to throw that out there. There's like I said, anybody Impact Media fans that want to hear more about my take, at least, on a lot of those hires and everything, tune in to kind of the relaunched. That Atlanta show should be dropping again on Monday, I believe. This past week, we did some United off season. I went through all the head coaching candidates, the top 10. They talked to 14 different people before they did the exact thing that I told them to do last time, told them to do this time too, and hire Raheem Morris. So glad they're listening to me. Glad they're listening to the fan base. I mean, maybe we know something.
Who'd have thought?
But let's dig into these games because these they really were bananas. These I'm going to run out of ways to say crazy probably by the end of the night. But let's start right out of the gate because I had to go back and rewatch uh, Saturday's games. I was not only on Nice watch, but I was at a hockey game and had to help out with the day gig early on in the day, so my day was jam packed. So let's start with the Texans and the Ravens. We
Went
both really
Texans.
liked the Texans. We thought Cinderella was still ready to dance a few more times, and then that glass shoe just shattered.
Yeah. I think we were more wishful thinking, I think. For CJ's numbers, he was 19 for 33, 175 yards passing, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and he only ran for 9 yards.
Yeah,
On the other side, you had Lamar 16 for 22. He threw for 152, two touchdowns, no interceptions, and he ran for 100 and a touch, and I think two touchdowns. Um, I'm gonna. It's funny that this was since we're going to use some WWE metaphors. This was Roman Reigns chasing Dean Ambrose out of the WWE.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's pretty accurate right there. That's
so
that's digging deep.
um,
I might have to explain that one on the MMA Pro Wrestling show later this week. But yeah,
yes, 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 lead into that. But it just the Ravens outmatched them. They outplayed them. At halftime, it was 10-10. And then
hmm
going into the fourth quarter, it was 17-10. It was still a game, and then within a blink of an eye, it was no longer. And it wasn't turnovers. There wasn't interceptions thrown. It just the offense wasn't moving. The Texans offense wasn't moving, and the Texans defense wasn't stopping them. They were outplayed. They were outmatched. They were outmanned. The Ravens were the number one seed for a reason. It is what it is. Roman Reigns won.
yeah, and for the non wrestling fans that are watching this right now, let's do a NASCAR reference because we're down here in the South. You got two racers that are going neck and neck for 400 of the 5 million laps that they do. And you just get one that pulls ahead because the other one blows a head gasket. And anybody that's been in a car that blew a gasket or anything like that, I don't care
Your
how
day
much you
is
mash it
over.
to the floor, it ain't moving.
Yeah, your day's over.
Yeah, and that's what seemed to happen. I don't think they necessarily ran out of gas because they played hard the whole time, but the thing that I think I didn't account to when I was trying to go wishful thinking on Houston is I forgot that Lamar Jackson is probably the MVP this year and any other year he wants to be because he just takes over a game and kind of makes you forget about some of those people named Patrick and some of those people named Jared. I mean, you kind of forget about him when you watch Lamar play.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not fully behind Lamar being the MVP. He is the best player on his team, and the reason I'm not fully behind it is because he's not doing anything we haven't seen. This is Michael Vick
Right.
2.0, if you ask me.
Yeah.
He had less than 30 total touchdowns, and he threw for less than 20. You're a quarterback, dude. Yes, you are the most valuable player for your team. I feel like I would I would give it to Christian McCaffrey before I'd give it to him. McCaffrey is more valuable to that team. I would almost say Debo is more valuable to the 49ers than Lamar is. Well, no, I'm not going to say more than Lamar is, but he's just as valuable because you've seen what almost happened. Um, I just don't think he put up the numbers that you look for in an MVP. But that's just me because I'm so on Lamar he's he's a running quarterback, and I'm not a big fan of running quarterbacks. He's not a throwing quarterback that runs when he has to. He's a run first, then throw. And I've seen them. I've seen him. I've seen him in San Francisco with Kaepernick. The only difference is Lamar is way better than Kaepernick was.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I
not.
definitely give you that.
But he probably will win the MVP, and it's because everybody's in his back pocket. But I could also see them sharing the MVP, which happened the year that Peyton Manning threw for less than 25 touchdowns. I think him and Adrian Peterson maybe shared it.
I think so. Yeah.
So we'll have to see. That's talk for another day. I don't know, but yeah, Ravens outmanned them. It is what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, we knew that defense was that good. We knew Houston was going to come at them with everything they got, but as much as we just pumped up Baltimore, we got to keep pumping up Houston because as we say, first year head coach. We got a rookie quarterback who
Yes,
is making
rookie wide
everyone around him
receivers.
better. Not the world's best line. They're decent. I'll give him that. Yeah, who are these guys that he's throwing to? I've never heard of half of them. He's made stars out of a lot of them. Some of them have emerged. I mean, you look, and they're 2 years ahead of schedule, so they're
Yeah,
one more draft away from maybe making a Super Bowl run. They may not win
I,
it, but I
but
mean, they
you
did
could see
this
him
with
in there.
minimal parts. What are they going to do when they have a full roster?
Yeah, I like the Texans and they're in that division. They could win on a normal,
But I mean, clearly they're going to have to get past two Harbaughs now to get to the Super Bowl.
which is funny. But yeah, yeah, it's funny.
But you know, we're not going to beat the dead horse that is that game. It was a really good game up until just like you
Until
said,
the
they
fourth
just
quarter.
yeah, they pretty much Roman Reigns them and just said, "This is my yard. You need to leave."
Yeah,
But kudos to the Texans. Congratulations to the Ravens. We'll get into who they're going to face because to me that was the best game of the weekend. Even though I was completely wrong. Well, I was wrong on my pick. It was the only one I nailed away from the show because on the show is the only time that I actually agreed with you on the next one. I tried to get cute with my picks away from this show and it didn't work out. But that second game, the Green Bay Packers did everything they could. They just ran out of clubs in their bag to make a golf reference, ran out of clubs in the bag to find a way to beat the 49ers, who Brock Purdy, you made a pretty good run at maybe being the second or third most valuable player in the league. I agree McCaffrey probably should get it. But Purdy showed everybody it didn't matter when he was drafted. This is Brady 2.0 at this point, that you're drafted that late and yet you can lead this team. It's not just, oh, he's a decent quarterback, that look at all those weapons and the scheme from Shanahan that, oh, he's just playing his part. No, he's a Brady. He's playing more than his part. He's making this team better than they actually should be on paper.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I've been asking people around me at work, where does the Purdy hate come from? I don't understand. This kid's in his second year in his second NFC Championship game. He in this game he had a horrible start to the game. Everybody blew the. Yes, there should have been 2 interceptions, but when you don't catch the ball on the defense, then they're not interceptions. They're just knockdown passes. Every channel that I watched said, "Ooh, they won despite Purdy. They won despite." Nobody brings up that this Packer offense ran all over the defense. Our defense was not there until the fourth quarter. They don't bring up that. Also, which I feel like they're not getting enough recognition, is that offensive line for the Packers. Not only did they stop Micah Parsons from any sacks, they held possibly the best front four from any sacks for the entire game. Jordan Love stood up the entire game and did not run the ball. He ran for like 6 yards, maybe 3.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to run. And I'm not understanding once again why Purdy got all the hate. He lost Debo by like the third or fourth play, so he had to play the whole game. He's coming off of 21 straight days without playing football. Are people forgetting 21 days of not playing football? That takes a minute. Oh, he's also playing in the rain. It's just so much was, and plus he still drove the team down when it mattered to score a touchdown. He had a rush for like 9 yards on that play. He made some impressive throws, but yet everybody wants to talk about the interceptions that were dropped. It kills me, and I don't understand where the hate for this kid who only puts his team above him at all times. You tell him you did a good job, Purdy. He's, oh no, it's my team. It's God in my team is what he says. And I'm like, how are we hating on this man? Then again, it could be me being a homer. But Purdy was. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, first off, as far as the not caught interceptions, a lot of people say that a defensive back is a wide receiver who can't catch. So a lot of times,
exactly. Unless you're Greenlaw.
Yeah, and in a way, when you actually, it reminded me of the last person that said God and team first was that one Timothy Tebow guy, and Purdy's way better than him. I'm not going to compare their skills, even though Tebow's talented. Look,
but they hated on him too.
But maybe that's what it is. They're like, this guy is too good to be true. He's drafted so late. It's kind of a jealousy, and maybe it's just kind of that's what it is. There's no way that things could be going this well for this kid. And you're like, sometimes people just have a really good life. It's okay to applaud the people that are doing well.
Do you remember? I know you remember the catch, Montana to Clark, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might. I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you was alive for it. I
think it was live, but I've seen it tons of times.
Okay, so here's something that nobody knew. Well, not that many people knew. Joe Montana had thrown 3 interceptions in that game. Nobody talks about the 3 interceptions that he threw in that game. They talk about that, and you do realize that he was throwing that ball away. Clark just happened to jump up and grab it. He wasn't even trying to throw it to him.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't understand Where with Purdy, instead of talking about the drive, they talk about the 2 interceptions that were dropped. And then just it's nobody even brought up the 2 interceptions that Love threw. They talk about that last one because it ended the game, but you didn't hear that Love was 21 for 34 with 194 yards. It just, I mean, it is what it is. It kills me with this Purdy hate. He's in his second year, guys. Second year. He's in his second NFC Championship. I don't know too many people that's done that. He gets knocked for having weapons around him. Nobody ever said Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James,
Dwight Clark.
Dwight. I mean, I'm telling you, Dwight Clark. I had wrote down some.
Yeah, he had
Reggie,
4 or 5
Reggie Wayne.
Pro Bowl.
Reggie Wayne.
I mean, yeah, 4 or 5 Pro Bowl receivers, 4 or 5
that's
Pro
what
Bowl runners.
No one ever said. Yes, but yet no one ever said that. Just like in Pittsburgh, Ben had Hines Ward, Randall L, the bus. No one ever said that. So I mean, I guess. I mean, it is what it is. He's going to have, even if he does win a Super Bowl this year, they'll still find a way to take the glory from him. He has to go out there and throw 8 touchdowns. It is what it is. But I mean, the 49ers, we looked rusty. We looked like our starters hadn't played for 21 days.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a more legit 49er team this weekend. You're going to see what the team that won the division.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, think about it this way. I love to make real life comparisons here. Think about if you take a week's worth of vacation. How hard is it to come back on that next day when you come off vacation? You don't want to go back.
Man, nah, for real. And this dude took 3 weeks off.
Yeah. He had 3 weeks where he could have practiced all he wanted, which he did, but it's like you got cement shoes. It's like there's a, it's like there's an boat anchor tied behind you. You can't keep your head up and you just can't stay focused. And this guy, 23 for 39, 252 and a touchdown. I don't see how you play much better than that in a divisional playoff game
against a team that was actually a pretty good Packer team. I think a pretty good Packer team. But yeah, it is what it is. We won. I mean, if you have anything to say, you can add to it. If not, we can move on. Because I sit here and cried about that just now. I wanted to get that off my chest because I'm upset about the Purdy hate.
I think you're dead on with that. I've always kind of wondered that as well. But just
at halftime, I was just going to say, because I told you at halftime for last one. At halftime, it was 6-7. 49ers were up, and then going into the fourth quarter, the 49ers were down 21-14. So this guy that can't bring a team back, and they scored 10 points in the fourth quarter to win the game. But that's it for that.
What I look at, and I'm not going to throw my team in this mix, even though I think they're a team to throw in this too. But this is back to the glory days of when we grew up, when we were kids. But instead of it, Favre versus Montana and Favre versus Young, we might be looking at the next great rivalry here. Yeah, we got the AFC one that we'll talk about in a minute. It might be Jordan Love and Brock Purdy, and we may see these two face off a lot in the next 10, 12 years.
I agree. And this next game that we're fixing to talk about, Jared Goff is young too. I feel like he's going to be around, and Baker Mayfield too. The NFC is now finally getting quarterbacks, youth in there like the AFC had about 5-6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I agree. This could be something that's building, and you guys, can Trey Lance step up and take the reins from Dak, or what's going on there? We'll talk. It's good. We'll talk about that later. We got these playoff games.
There's a wild rumor about Dak Prescott that Dallas, instead of paying him on his next contract, could potentially try to ship him to Atlanta. And I was like, okay, this had to be an Atlanta fan who come up with this. There's no way that happens. But I like how you're thinking. Whoever come up with that, that's some great stuff you did. I hope it's legal, and I hope they don't drug test you at work, because that's really out there.
There's not going to be room for him in Atlanta, because remember, Cam Newton's coming out of retirement to go play for Atlanta, because that's what he said he's going to do. What?
I mean, he'd be a better backup than – I mean, he's definitely a better starter. He'd be a better backup than the two they have. So, I mean, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And plus, I mean, nothing personal, Falcons fans. We got to take one thing at you here. If Cam Newton's the quarterback in Atlanta, hey, that's one less team our teams have to worry about.
Right.
They're out of the way.
Love that. Love that. Love that.
We're
Stick
just
to
messing
your
with you,
little
Falcons fans. We
podcast
love you
show,
guys.
Cam.
In fact, Cam Newton, come on the show. I'd love to hear it. But let's get to that Sunday game, that first one. I
Detroit.
really this ended up being a good one too. Detroit does get the win, 31-23, but like you said, yeah, Jared Goff on one side. We got to see Baker Mayfield play one of the best games he's played as a pro. I mean, you can't hang your hat, on either one of these. I mean, either one of these teams deserve to win, but unfortunately, in the
Only one
playoffs,
can.
there are no ties. Somebody has to win, somebody has to lose.
And the best thing about this game, it was 10-10 going into halftime. It was 17-17 going into the fourth quarter. So it was a competitive game all the way to the end. And still the Bucks had a chance to win it or tie it. And for some reason, when they downed the ball, fourth down, there was 36 seconds left. They could have called for timeout, but they didn't. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
confused on that.
that was like a whole 24-hour like talk radio cycle too. Like you couldn't listen to a podcast or a radio
Without somebody bringing it
about
up.
sports with somebody going, "What were they doing with that timeout?" And I'm just, you know,
They're saving it for next year.
Yeah, when you get caught up in a game like that, then sometimes you don't know how many you have left. You don't think about, man, I should call a timeout here, or I shouldn't call a timeout. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt that it was part of some strategy they were trying, and it just didn't work.
Yeah. But yeah, Detroit won. They're in their NFC Championship game. So, hey, tip my cap to them.
Exactly. Baker Mayfield threw for 349 yards, 3 touchdowns. I don't mind the 2 interceptions because he was trying to make things happen.
He was
when they
slinging
needed.
it. He was slinging it.
He kind of different style quarterbacks, but he is kind of this generation's Brett Favre.
Brett
There's not a
Favre. I
throw
was
he
going to
doesn't
say
think
it.
he can
I
make.
was going to say it. I love that. I love it. I agree, and that's a good. That's a good comparison. Jared had 287 with 2-0. He did what he had to do to win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Jared Goff is that guy, though. He is, in a way, he is. He's Alex Smith for the most part, but he's got that extra gear.
I'll take
Now, Alex
that.
Smith can do this a little bit, but he's got that extra gear. Like when you need me, just put it right on the back, and he can do that extra thing. So
I believe it's that chip that's on his shoulder.
yeah. I mean, and he did knock the Rams out, his former team. So I mean that, maybe he put so much into no, I can't say he was out of gas. Both these teams, if there was another quarter, they probably would have kept playing.
Yeah.
They really did. These two teams reminded me of the kids who, even though the street lights went out, they want to keep playing. They just want to stay out there.
And they looked like they was having fun.
Yeah.
It was a good game. Sunday's games were good, but Detroit took that one. Then I guess the Undertaker.
The Undertaker at WrestleMania
stepped into WrestleMania to face Triple H. Triple H couldn't get it done again. He had his opportunity.
Shawn Michaels or John Cena or the Big Boss Man or Giant Gonzalez. I could probably name about 12
Jimmy
of
Fly,
the 18 or so.
Jimmy Fly Snuka.
Yep.
Kane. Yeah. Buffalo had a chance. They had a chance to win it.
Okay.
Josh Allen was playing dunk. I was looking at the numbers. Josh Allen is like Lamar Jackson. I will throw it. I will run it. He ran for 72 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. He passed for 1 touchdown. If he would have passed for another touchdown, he would have the exact numbers as Lamar. His kicker let him down. And those last 2 throws, Stephon Diggs let him down too because he hit him right in his hands with that long pass. Josh Allen also gets he gets crushed more in the media than he should. I've heard people say that he's overrated. I don't think he's overrated. He's overhyped. Yes. People hype him too much. I think he is a great quarterback. You can't say he's overrated because he's a great quarterback. It just Mahomes has his kryptonite in his back pocket, and he gives it to him before each game.
Yeah.
Um, this look, you can hate him all you want. A lot of people don't like Patrick Mahomes. They don't like the Chiefs because they win so much. Tom Brady, enjoy your records while you can. Patrick will have all of them when it's all said and done.
Well, maybe. I think part of what has added an extra level to the Chiefs. I don't know how long they've known this. There is a rumor out there, pretty credible
Kelsey's
rumor.
last
Nothing's
season.
been proven that maybe Andy Reid could hang it up after this. And
I've
so
heard.
I would like to see what would happen when Patrick Mahomes doesn't have Andy Reid. I think they are not dependent, but I think they make each other
I
better.
like
I don't think
that.
this is not
Belichick
a Brady
Brady conversation.
Belichick where
It's
Belichick
not.
needs Brady. I think
Got
this
you.
very much they can thrive on their own, but they're so much better together. So I would be curious what would happen if there's no Andy Reid next year. That's why I think they're pushing so hard to win this year.
Kelsey, I heard, is on his way out. Also, he's going to retire with his brother.
I heard he's going to sing
Uh, I'd rather him just retire.
some duets, maybe.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, KC does what KC does in the
Yeah,
playoffs. They win.
yeah.
And this too was a close game. 13-7 at halftime. KC was down. 20-24 and going into the fourth quarter, KC was down. Yeah. So I mean, um, where's my numbers? Oh, right here. I was like, where's my numbers for Saturday Sunday's games? Okay. But yeah, I mean, I got all these wrong except for my 49er one, which at the end was the only one I'm happy about getting wrong. I'm getting right. I thought Tampa Bay would beat Detroit. I thought the Houston would beat Baltimore, and I thought Buffalo was going to get the monkey off his back. But
He didn't.
it's okay though. The only one I really cared about, I was right about, and here we are. I would not
I'll
be
be.
happy about doing this if we lost.
Yeah, it'd be a totally different show right now. We'd probably have no lights on, and there'd
Yeah.
be a lot of music playing. And
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's see. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. We'd be all I was like, but yeah, I'm excited for this weekend's games. The first
Oh
one
yeah.
is KC and Baltimore.
Ooh, they're leading with that. I had not seen the
Yes.
schedule yet. I'm looking at it right now.
Yes.
Wow. That's
Yeah. And
that's
all time KC is 7-5 against Baltimore. Since these two guys have joined the league, KC is 3-1. With the last game being won by Baltimore, though, back in September of 2021, Baltimore won 36-35. They've met one time in the playoffs where Baltimore won. This was back in 2010. So this is the first time these two have seen each other at all, like in the playoffs. Like I'm talking about Lamar
yeah.
and Patrick. And
Okay.
to give my take on it, I've been going back and forth with this. Uh, Part of me wants to say that Baltimore Roman Reigns will go into WrestleMania against KC, The Undertaker, and beat him down. But The Undertaker has beaten Roman once at WrestleMania, has he not? Is Roman Reigns not 1-1 against him? Because Roman is the other guy that has beaten him.
Thanks. Uh, is he?
I thought he beat. Yeah, Roman. It's Roman and Brock that have beaten the Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Because after he lost the first time, maybe Roman was the other one. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm saying that if Baltimore wins this, it'll be Baltimore beats the brakes off of Kansas City. I think if it is a Raven win, it's going to be a beatdown. If you don't beat Kansas City down, you will lose because Patrick will find a way to win in the fourth quarter if you don't have a lead on him that is unmatchable. If it's a close game, the Chiefs win this game.
All right. So what's your pick?
That's
We
my.
got about 3 minutes.
I'm going Kansas City. I can't go against the Undertaker at WrestleMania.
I keep saying it burns me all the time. I do agree that if the Chiefs win, it's because this is a big high scoring affair, and if the Ravens win, it's death by a thousand paper cuts. I think they are going to have to kind of beat them into submission like that. Man, just for the sake of it, because I want to set up a really cool Super Bowl, I'm going to say give me the Harbaugh led Ravens that are going to win this thing. I don't know, 24-17. It's going to be really low scoring.
Okay.
Okay, we
All
got
right.
about 2 minutes left. Let's jump into the last game. We know where your pick is, but what do you think?
I think that you get a ready 49er team. You got a team that's not rusty anymore. You got a team that's played. They almost lost. They don't want to be put in that situation again. And you got this team that knows Jared Goff. We've played him. We are one. He's 1-6 against us. We good luck, Jared. I think or 1-5 or something. But their offensive line is good, but their defense is nowhere near as good as Green Bay's.
Right.
We win this one. The last time we played them, we won. And this was also in September of 21. We won. Yeah, it's a 49er win, and it's going to be a statement game. So I'm looking for KC 49ers when we're looking to get our either way. Whoever we play over there, we're getting our comeback because they both have beaten us over the past 5 years or past 10 years in the Super Bowl.
All right, fair enough. Like I said, I'm gonna set up a really fun Super Bowl.
Lions.
Who do I think is going to win? The 49ers. I think they're the better team. Like you just said, all those things you just said, I think absolutely on paper, on turf, on grass, you guys are the better team. I really want to see Ravens and the Lions. I just think it's going to be fun. For the sake of this show, I told you my official pick is the 49ers. For the sake of this show, give me Detroit and Baltimore in whatever random city, Miami or wherever they're playing the Super Bowl this year.
It's Vegas.
Vegas. Oh, in Vegas. Oh, yeah, in Vegas. Yeah, let's gamble a little bit. Lions, Ravens.
And
I just think it's
if
going to be
the
really fun, and I feel like John's got to win one before Jim gets back in the league because then he's going to have to get past his brother the whole time.
if the Lions are in the Super Bowl, how do you not have Eminem performing at halftime? I know Usher's supposed to. You need to get Eminem out there and
Usher's an
sign
ATL
Barry
guy.
Sanders for
I
one
got to
year.
side with him too, though.
Sign Barry Sanders for one game.
They
You
might
get
could
that
use
man a
him.
ring.